I'm Jalen Hoffman, and you're listening to Leaders in Next podcast.
Welcome to the latest edition of Leaders in Next. Michigan football is known for a lot of things, and producing great tight ends is one of those things. While many fans may not have known about Jalen Hoffman earlier, what he did this spring is position himself as a player to watch heading into the upcoming season. Jalen started his U of M career as a preferred walk-on and has worked hard to find a way to get on the field, and up to this point, he's appeared in 14 games, primarily contributing on special teams. During his first 2 years, he has not registered a pass catch in a game, but I suspect that's going to change this season. In this episode, we'll cover his journey to U of M, his time with the program, and his breakout performance in the spring game. Jalen, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
What's going on,
we're excited. Heard a lot. When people read, they've seen your name mentioned in doing things, but I think until the spring game, a lot of folks had said, "Oh, who's that guy?" So we're looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah.
We'll start off with like a overarching question. What's the number one thing you want Michigan fans to know about you?
That I will do anything for Michigan football.
I love it.
That's incredible. What tell us more. How did the love for Michigan, how did it start?
Really, when I got here, obviously growing up, I wasn't a Michigan fan or anything like that, or really didn't even know how big the fandom of Michigan was till I got here. And I don't know, just being here, just growing the love for the team, the culture, the people, and I'll do anything for Michigan and tell myself I believe that I would die for Michigan football, honestly.
Hell yeah.
One of our early guests is, and we'll talk. I think we'll talk more about this later. But one of our early guests was Max Bredesen, and I think he has a sign in his room that says "I die for Michigan." So, or Ann Arbor, whatever. So,
we sit pretty close on that topic.
That's good.
Doesn't fall from the tree. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're good. Before we get into the serious topics that I'm sure we'll touch on, we have a little pregame warm up here where we just ask kind of rapid fire questions so fans know a little bit more about you. I'll start off. What's your favorite place to eat in Ann Arbor?
Right now, recently, I would say Side Biscuit Wings, really good. Also, Spots is always a good spot to go to.
Shout out Side Biscuits. What's on the menu? What do we get there?
It's a wing place. Apparently they have Side Biscuits, obviously the name, but I've never really gotten them. I just get wings and fries and a drink or something, but wings are really good.
Now, are you a wings guy?
Yeah.
Okay, so have you had Wingstop?
Yes.
Are these how do they compare?
I would say they're better than Wingstop. They're a little bit more pricier, but
okay.
And are you on the heat scale? Give us a rating. Where are you at in the heat index on your sauce?
I like it a little bit of kick to it, but nothing too crazy. But yeah, so that's where I'm at on that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. By the way, have you ever been to No Tie?
Yes, I have been. It's great.
And sauce wise, I don't know what the mild that's where I'm at, because even medium or the death one, whatever the top segment is, on barrel.
Yeah, No Tie is a place where it's real. They do really a lot on the spices. So even getting the lowest tier of spices is a good bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we just gave free airtime to two restaurants in Ann Arbor.
No free sponsors, but yeah.
Yeah, they're not sponsors, but sounds good. So I'm assuming you don't live by yourself. You have roommates.
Yes.
We don't need to name them unless you want to. How do you guys break down roles and responsibility? What is your role and responsibility as a roommate? Are you the guy that has to clean the place? Are you cooking anything?
I just really normal rules. Just clean up after yourselves. There's really no rules or anything, but if you see the trash is full and needs taken out, just take it out. Nothing too uptight or strict. Really, just clean up after yourselves.
Now you can refuse to answer this, and that would be totally okay. But do you live with Marlon Klein by chance?
I do not.
Okay, because we had him on, and it sounds like
He's a clean freak.
he's a clean freak. Now,
Yeah.
no,
Marlon's a clean.
yeah.
That's even though sometimes he sounds like he's from Georgia because he went to high school there. He's German. He's,
Hold on, guys. Can you give me 1 second?
Yeah, you got it.
All right. Sorry, I had an alarm going off. My bad.
No worries.
Funny, we didn't even hear it. All right, okay. So transitioning from roommate.
Yeah.
Nicknames. J-Hoff, the
Yeah.
Hoffmeister. What do we got going on?
Really just J Hoff and Hoff. Really, those are the two main ones I really had, like, really through high school and into college.
So if I like try to work something into the fan base, you want me to go with J Hoff? You want me to go with just Hoff? I could try Hoffmeister, like I said. I don't know if you're feeling the vibe on that.
Just J Hoff or Hoff, either one.
Okay. Those are pretty straight. Those are pretty straightforward and easy to understand. So we'll stick with those. Any pregame rituals or superstitions?
Not really. Besides having like used the bathroom before every game, really.
That's important. You don't have to leave the bench like middle of a quarter.
You don't want to Lamar Jackson it.
Yeah, I can't do that. So
You can't do that.
I would say that's really the only one, really. Or I would say that.
How about hidden talent?
I don't really have it. I don't think I have the talent, honestly.
Yeah. Can you sing?
No.
Can Zach Marshall sing?
Yeah.
Oh, he can. This is breaking news. We've asked a couple people. He said he could. I got a conflicting report. This might clear it up.
He sings that. So, yeah.
He sings a lot.
I would say that.
Yeah.
He's probably smiling when he's singing too, because he's always smiling.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, and he said he sang in the choir. So I thought that was a winner. When you're not consumed playing football at Michigan, what do you do in your downtime? Any hobbies?
Hanging out with friends. I play video games a little bit. Nothing crazy. Talking to family. Really just I like being around people. So
You like new stuff? Like, so this is all new era games, or you do any retro stuff? What do you got going on?
yeah, newer era games. Recently, I've been playing like MLB The Show, Madden, Marvel Rivals is a like fighting type of game. It's with like the Marvel characters. So those are really the ones I've been playing recently.
All right.
Yeah,
Last
what were some of the video games you grew up playing? You played with growing up? Yeah.
Oh.
I had a Nintendo DS.
Oh.
So when I was a kid,
He's busted on me because I'm like really old, and he's asking about video. Look, video games. At least I was there when they first came out, and I played Pong. If you've seen any of that stuff, that took a lot of skill back in the day. So.
But DS had some good games, Jalen. Like that was a good one.
growing up, I was a big Pokemon guy, so I had like a bunch of the Pokemon games on there, or Pokemon cards, or whatever it could be, or like Wii Sports and stuff like that too.
I was right there with you, man. This for me it was late '90s, so I was a little bit ahead of your time. But I was just talking with my wife. I wish I would have saved him. I saw somebody posted on Instagram like what one of the rare ones was selling for, like the original ones.
Yeah,
It's like six figures.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh well.
Sorry, Dad.
All right. Well, last question in this section before we move on to your time at Michigan and recruitment. You get to ask us one question if you want. Anything you want.
Who would you guys say is your guys' favorite person you've had on the podcast?
Interesting.
Until now.
Dan?
Present company excluded.
Yeah, because this one's not over yet. But because you could easily vault into that position. But Dan, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I got a
you're
good
young.
feeling about this one, Jalen. So probably you. But okay, so Marlon asked us this question. Marlon Klein did, and I listened to the episode back, and I said Dominic Zavada, and my dad said Davis Warren. And
Okay.
Davis was our first, and built a good friendship with Davis, and then Dominic Zavada was just really fun, and all of them were awesome in kind of their own way. The one I listened back to that I really really enjoyed was Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, Q, yeah.
Q was an awesome interview. He was kind of like elder statesman, So he like had this kind of worldly view of his role, of the team, of his position. So it was super cool. So I would say Q was like a really good one. Dad, what do you think?
First of all, I mean, I guess we're biased, but really liked all of them. I think now that I remember, I remember one at the time because he's very animated, and it's Zach Marshall.
Yeah,
because he's a storyteller, and and he had some stories, and so it was really interesting at the time. But I get Q. We had a sponsor for Q's episode, and it was Pure Green. And he loves that Pure Green. He used to take those little energy shots, and they have 5 or 6 different shots. And Q just riffed on that, and it was like he was a paid spokesperson. It was awesome. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, hopefully he lands on a team.
Yeah. Me
cool.
and Q are from like the same area and like work with the same trainers and stuff in high school. So pretty close with Q.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah,
that DMV area has been a source of talent for Michigan. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Good transition. I mean, let's talk a little bit about your recruitment journey. Jalen is a member of the 23 class. Now, originally, I think you were committed to Bucknell, which is in it's like the FCS, the old Division 1, 2A, second level college football. How did you end up there? And, to walk us through how you were recruited, and then, you got to Bucknell, and then you said, hey, maybe I should change my mind.
So in high school, I had like a couple, I would say like 7 or 8 offers from like a mix of Ivy League schools and FCS schools. And Bucknell was the only one that gave me a scholarship because, the rules are different down there. So like some of the like Ivy League can't really give scholarships,
right? And
some other FCS schools can't give scholarships. So Bucknell was the only one that gave me a scholarship. So I ended up committing there, and wanted to go there. And I think it was a week before signing day. Coach Newsom reached out to me and offered me a walk-on spot. So I just felt like. No, obviously, like I felt like I could play at this level, and I just took the chance and decided to come to Michigan.
What did Newsom say about like what was his process to find you? Had he been in contact before? Like, I'm sure he didn't just call you out of the blue. I'm sure he had his tape and stuff. So what was his process like? And had you guys been in contact before?
So one of the coaches or trainers that I worked with. Coach Newsom's from the same area, the DMV area as well. He worked with the same trainer when he was in high school. So he reached out to him, asked him if they had like any tight ends or anything like that. And he passed over my film, and Coach Newsom liked it and offered me a walk-on spot.
Now they offered you a preferred walk-on, and walk the fans. We have a pretty good handle on what that is, but I'm not sure everybody does what that, you'll hear walk on, then you hear preferred walk on. What a preferred walk on, how did that work?
So I would say like the difference between like a student walking on and a preferred walk on is just that like the coaches recruit you, they tell you like, oh, like whatever the case, we don't have any more scholarships or whatever it is, and decide, okay, like you can have a spot on the team. It's just that they prefer you to walk on because they don't have room for scholarships or whatever it may be. And the student walk on is like having to go to a tryout and then ended up like making the team technically.
Okay. Now, I mean, having sent one child, Dan, to the University of Michigan out of state, the tuition it gets awfully pricey. I don't know if you had some sort of NIL deal, but. So your parents probably, did someone look at you and said, Jalen, you have a scholarship to Bucknell, and instead you want to go to Michigan for like $100,000 a year?
So that was like when Coach Newsom gave me the walk-on offer, that was really the conversations me and my parents were having, because obviously it's a whole lot of money to do that.
Right.
And yeah, it was stressful because like there wasn't a lot of time to think about it. We had to make a decision pretty quick. So
But a pretty good return on that investment, I would say, given the flag you're flying behind you, which we'll get to.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
But
Yeah,
you're on scholarship now.
yeah.
Any good stories on, because, we see the videos, any good stories on how your scholarship was announced?
No, just Coach Moore and Coach Kasula just like we're talking and stuff, and they just told me.
Did you know? Did you know it was coming?
No, I mean, like I had a feeling like that. I was like, yeah, I've been playing a lot. Like, hopefully, they would give me a scholarship and stuff like that. So,
Can you describe that feeling? That's got to be like,
yeah, I mean,
they tell you that, and it's like, man, I worked hard for this. This is awesome. I mean, how did you feel?
It was a really great moment, like to share with my parents and stuff, and telling them because he put on scholarship and stuff like that. So it was awesome.
That's awesome. It's earlier you made, you said how much you like Ann Arbor and Michigan. In today's world, it's easy for people to move around. We've just touched a little bit about why you came to Michigan. What keeps you at Michigan?
Really the same reason why I fell in love with Michigan. It was just the people. I feel like a lot of the times, like, people make the place, and it's just like the people here are really special. Everyone here loves football. There's no one that like doesn't take it as serious as someone else, or someone else doesn't take it as serious as someone else. Everyone's here for this one common goal, and we're all like trying to get another championship. And it's just that culture here is just why I love this place, why I'm still here.
And now that you're here, obviously, there's you come in as a freshman. You guys win the national title. There's one question I've wanted to ask our guests, and this goes through my head. I haven't actually asked anybody yet. Okay, so you win the national title, the confetti falls, and then you get to go some point back home, whether it's winter break or summer. Are you just like in people's ear, like repping the shirt, like come back to your hometown, like what's up now, national champs? Tell me about the like what was the you bragging a ton? I'm just curious, like, how you handled it as you went back home, because I mean, how few people can say they're national champions especially in football. So what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you don't really like understand the magnitude of it. I like still even feel that now. Like I don't like to think how many people are national champions. Not many. So me personally, I'm not a person that likes like extra attention really, or like bragging about it and stuff like that. My dad's pretty active on social media and stuff, so he was posting about it, and other family members and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of people like congratulating me and like stuff like that, texting me and all types of stuff when I went home.
I guess it doesn't hit in the moment, but it like how much it means to so many people, it probably is like the gravity of that is probably almost like impossible. Like, we won it in 97. So, we go 25 years, probably been to 160 games between the first one and the last one and this one. And so, I mean, there's people that just, probably fell to their knees and wept, because it meant so much.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy to think about.
Well, hopefully your dad doesn't get a bunch of OSU trolls trolling his, they're insufferable.
Shout out your dad's handle though. People should, unless you don't want to, unless he's spewing off some crazy stuff, but otherwise.
No, he's not anything crazy. What is it? It might be.
I'll look for it.
Yeah, we'll get it at some point here.
I gotta give you a follow.
So you've been at U of M, class of 23. So you've been at U of M a few years here. You've seen a ton of change on the coaching staff, at least. And after the national championship that we were just talking about, Harbaugh and a lot of the coaches leave. And you got a new offensive coordinator, this year. How do those changes impact you personally?
Well, for me, most of the first year when Coach Harbaugh left, it was a lot of the defensive staff.
Right.
And the offense really didn't change really besides Coach Kasula coming in, and he's been nothing but amazing. He's awesome. I love him. And then this year with Coach Lindsey coming in, hasn't really affected me personally. It's just someone else to like get to know and talk football with and build a connection with.
Yeah. Okay, well, do you think he's going to change the tight end usage? I mean, like, obviously Michigan is known for,
Yeah.
running a lot of two tight end sets and thrown to the tight end. Do you think that's going to change much?
No, I think our goal is just to be really balanced offense, be able to run the ball, pass the ball, you know, do whatever we have to do to win the game, whether that being running it X amount of times or throwing it however many.
Now, I've seen a lot of people consider you, right or wrong, and maybe you can say it's right or wrong, as an understudy to Max Bredesen as an H-back. And, obviously in the spring game we saw, more than just the H-back, more of a hybrid. But anyway, what's the biggest thing you've learned from Max?
I would say really it's a lot because he's taught me a lot as well. But I would say probably the biggest thing, because probably learning how to play fullback and him teaching me like those techniques and mentality and different things like that. Because like obviously I've played tight end in high school. I like knew how to run routes and like catch the ball and stuff. Like I've never played fullback, which is like not much different, but it's a whole different thing. And like only a few people can do that, I believe. So him teaching me how to do that really opened up like me being able to be versatile and like be able to do everything. That's my goal, wanting to be able to like do everything I can from the tight end / fullback position on our offense.
And I was just going to ask you, like, what position do you consider yourself? Is it tight end? Is it fullback? Because obviously we saw you split out wide. We'll talk about the 7 catches for 100 and checks notes, 48 yards. What do you consider yourself now?
I consider myself a tight end,
Okay.
who can play fullback, I guess.
Okay.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, the tight end room is relatively crowded these days. I mean, I think there's like 8 guys. It's you, Eli Owens, Prescorn, Zach, Hanson, Tonelli, Klein, Max. I mean, do you look at that and say, well, my best opportunity to get on the field is to be the H-back more? Because a lot of those guys, I mean, obviously Max is runs the ball, it blocks, it does a lot of blocking, and then I've heard Owens is kind of in that role as well, but he's just just a freshman here. Are you thinking you're going to be more of a traditional tight end, or you think you're going to be more of an H-back initially?
Whatever. I mean, it just depends. It's whatever the team needs me to be. I'm willing to do whatever. So that's why I just want to be able to be versatile and be really good at both spots, and just be able to have them use me like whenever I'm needed.
Some might even say team over me mentality.
Yeah, 100%.
So has Max demonstrated how to do the pancake blocks on various key defenders of like Alabama and Ohio State? He's got some good pictures on social media. I mean, so hopefully he'll pass that along to guys like yourself.
Yeah.
And not for me, because let's just say I have a friend of mine that is looking to clarify. People say tight end, and then they'll say there's an inline, then there's maybe a split tight end, H-back, fullback. What's the difference between all these positions? Just for, again, not for me, for, let's just say a friend of mine.
Okay, so I would say H-back and fullback are really the same thing, I would feel like, in my mind. Inline tight end mainly plays with his hand in the ground attached to the wing, or attached to the tight end, or attached to the O-line, And then like a hybrid guy can do both. He could be hand down, he could be split out, he could be like not in the backfield, but off the ball, attached to the core. So that's how I see it, I feel like.
I'll relay that to my friend. We gotta talk the spring. Actually, before the spring game, you played. I mean, so I remember. I believe the USC game last year. I think Marlon got pulled up on a play. Maybe it was even before that, because I think he may have gotten hurt or pulled a hamstring or something. But you got in against USC, and I remember. I'm correct on that, right?
Yeah.
But so you saw some game action last year. There were other games too, as well, right?
Yeah, I played in USC, Washington, Minnesota. Yeah, on offense in those three.
Because I remember the USC game because I don't know if it was before or after because on Mulling's long run I think Klein pulled up kind of hurt on the long one at the end of the game. So it must have been before that.
Yeah, it was.
I was
I think I was in there the first and second quarter at some point.
so good point. And I think Colston maybe had gotten hurt in the Arkansas State game.
Yeah,
And I remember going through a list of names of tight end in my head of like, okay, who's going to fill in, and maybe Marlon Klein. And I remember seeing you come out there and looked at my brother. I was like, yeah, that's Jalen Hoffman, like kind of out of nowhere. That's pretty crazy. So, going into that game, did you know you were going to play kind of heading into USC given the shakeup with Colston's injury?
Yeah, we talked about it as a group, just like people were gonna have to step up and need all hands on deck really. So, the coaches were going through game planning and had certain plays where I was in there, and I just prepared during the week and was ready when it was called.
And does the game truly move faster? That's what people say, because I have no idea. I wouldn't know. But, so you get in there for that rep. You're playing against USC, one of the most storied college football programs. You're in front of 113,000 people. What was that experience like, that first play? Do you remember it?
Yeah, so for me personally, when I play football, I black out a lot. So, I don't remember much until I, see it again on film or whatever. So I can't tell you if it was much faster or what I was really thinking in the moment, but yeah.
They say one play at a time, right? Have a short memory. You're like, done.
Yeah.
I got no memory. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
as long as you remember the play, I think that's important.
Yeah, I remember the play, but once the ball is snapped and stuff like that, and we're going.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, by the way, I'm not bragging about my astute knowledge of the roster, but it was actually not as much of a surprise to see your breakout in the spring game. Say you'd gotten it against USC, you had popped it, you got in Washington, got in Minnesota. But let's go to the spring game. Because I guess even for my dad and I, who again we study the roster up and down, we know we know 42, 7 catches on 7 targets for 148 yards and a touchdown. In your wildest dream, as you laid in bed on Friday night before the spring game, would you have even dreamt that up?
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling it was going to happen, to be honest. Yeah, we were going into the game and they drafted the teams, and I was the only tight end on our team that was playing the full game because Marlon, he's played a lot for us, so he didn't play the full game. He only played a quarter or a half or whatever it was. And so I just felt like I was going to get the ball a lot and knew from what the plays we were practicing and walking through leading up to it that I could have a big one.
Well, I think the announced attendance, I don't know if they announced attendance, but I saw somewhere between 40,000 and 45,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah.
And I think unless you had relatives in the stands, I would say everyone was going, oh, that's kind of cool. This Hoffman guy, 7 for 7, and not just catches too. I mean, we have the trick play, but you caught some tough catch. You had that one tough catch over the middle, kind of blanketed, and wrestling the ball around with the defensive back. But also, I think you threw a pretty nice block on Haynes' 26-yard run.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if anybody on the team noticed it, but the shame on the public address guy. He could not pronounce Haynes. He kept saying Hayes.
Oh.
And there was a Justice Hayes that played at Michigan earlier, so maybe he's confused. But anyway, so you're not just a receiver. You threw some nice blocks there, and then you get named because of that performance. More in the press. You saw it. I mean, you're kind of like the unofficial MVP of the spring game. And Jordan Marshall's interviewed and calls you, a dog.
Yeah.
When you hear that kind of stuff, now I know, you sound like, I know your team over me, but how did that make you feel when you hear that kind of stuff? Teammates calling you a dog, Moore saying, "Hey, this guy's an MVP." What's that like?
It's awesome. It's I love getting recognized for what I do and hard work I've put in and stuff, and it's awesome having my peers and coach and everyone recognize that. Just can't let it like get a big head or like get a too big of an ego going off of it, and still have a lot of work still to do.
Yeah, and have you watched the film back? 'Cause I was going to ask you about a couple plays, but given what you said, I didn't want to go into your blackout face.
No, like I've seen most of them. Seen like the videos online and everything, but I haven't gone through and watched every single play to be exact. But go ahead, you can ask.
Well, no, I mean, as an outsider, it was a little bit of like everything in the route tree. You had some sort of, some stuff out to the flat. You had some stuff right over the middle where my dad said, you had one in traffic where you kind of double caught it away from a defender. Then you had the trick play sort of up the sideline. Kind of a little bit of everything. Is when you went, which was awesome. And obviously, all those were from Bryce. Yeah, all those were from Bryce.
Yeah.
So, how much what's your rapport with Bryce like, and kind of how did that play into how Saturday went down?
Me and Bryce were pretty close. We going through practice and stuff. I've always wanted to be always want to build trust with them because all the quarterbacks, because even if you're open, it's like they don't really trust you, and the ball's probably not going to go to you. So just being able to build trust and knowing what I'm doing, lining up right, being in the right spot at the right time for the quarterbacks, and just making plays when I get the ball is just what I was trying to do all spring and leading up into the game, and I feel like that built a lot of trust with Bryce and also Jaden too. So yeah,
it was an awesome performance. You sound like you're a humble guy, but you had so much. My dad mentioned the blocking, obviously all the score at the end. How would you kind of rate you're coming out of spring now? Kind of how would you rate or praise your own spring, and kind of what are some of the things you're looking to work on heading into the summer?
I feel like I had a pretty good spring. Still want to get better route running, getting open. Still blocking, fullback blocks, inline blocking. Just wanted to still improve everything. I feel like I still have a lot I can get better at, and a whole lot more I can get better as a football player.
Well, let's talk about that trick play. By the way, we when we toured Schembechler after the game, we had a presentation by Chip Lindsey and by Wink. Wink was not excited that they called the trick play on the last play. He thought that was a low blow and not fair. But so this is kind of your Michigan moment right now. First of all, what's that play called?
We called it Superman.
And so
are you Superman on this play? Is that what it's named?
I don't know why we called it that, but that's what our blue team coaches decided to call it.
Awesome.
So give us a little play-by-play, pre-snap and then walk us through how that play unfolded.
Yeah, so supposed to fake outside zone to the right, and my job is just to block the widest person on the edge of the defense, and then block them for 2-3 seconds or however long, and then leak out down the sideline. And they brought a safety blitz, so I wasn't expecting that on the last play of the game. But so try to block him long enough so he couldn't get back there, and then just got out there. Bryce threw me the ball, and then I was just had to run.
And you were off. I mean, you dusted the defense. You were really moving.
Yeah,
stairs.
I was trying to.
Yeah. Are you?
I got to be honest, sitting there watching it because Dan and I were there in the stands. I mean, I was kind of surprised. Okay. I mean, he's going to get caught by the DB and
some skinny guy. Some skinny.
Somebody around 200 pounds. So now that it's an interesting play because a lot has to go right. First of all, we're in a shotgun. Then Bryce gives it to Capana, who then gives it back to Wilcox, who gives it back to Bryce. And I mean, the blocking's got to be good. Did you guys practice? That play a fair amount?
No, we practiced it 2 times going into the game. I mean, we ran it previously, in games in 2023.
Yeah.
against Rutgers with Colston, and he almost scored on it. So I feel
And
like
when you heard this play called, like, did you guys all go, "Oh, this is awesome"? Like, yeah, let's have some fun.
yeah, so like obviously going into the spring game, each team was allowed to have like 2 trick plays, but we only had one.
Okay.
So we all wanted to run it, and we were at first they weren't going to let us do it because it was the last 2 plays of the game. So we ran the ball the first time, and then the second time we're standing there in the huddle waiting for Bryce to get the call or whatever, and everyone in the huddle was like calling let's run it, like doesn't whatever coach called, like let's run it. And Bryce came in and they let him call it, and yeah.
That's awesome. Because that would be, by the way, if they ever let fans call plays, that would be what would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Double reverse. Are you the only route on that play, or you're at least the first read? But are you the only route downfield, or was there something else?
No, there's 2 other routes, but I'm really the only read.
Yeah.
So it's really just the one, like either you hit them or throw it out of bounds.
And you
Now,
must have known right away you were going to be open. My guess is as soon as you release off that block after 3 seconds that you knew if Bryce threw a good pass, and he did, that you probably knew right away, right?
Yeah. I saw no one there, so.
Were you pretty confident after you caught it that you were going to score?
Yeah. I just made sure I didn't get caught because that would have been a really bad moment. But
you can
5-yard dead sprint from where you caught it.
Yeah.
We don't want to get you in trouble, but you can ask. Didn't Max get caught from behind in a game
against Hawaii, the 2022 play that we did? Yeah.
You can ask him about that.
That's when he was wearing 82. I feel like he was even faster.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I don't know.
He was making a lot of moves, so they had time to catch up. So
yeah. Exactly.
So let's talk about your TD celebration, because everyone came, and you guys have, like, I know Max was down there. The Maze guys were down there, even cheering you on, which is cool to see. Obviously, I think it speaks to these guys all loved seeing you. Have the benefit of working hard in practice. But you got to talk about the touchdown celebration.
Okay.
What you guys? It was like 4 guys across, and everyone shooting a free throw, or what? Like, what's with the basketball? I got to be honest. It was not. It didn't look all that creative, which maybe fits well with just the tight end fullback mentality. But tell us a little bit about what that is.
Wait up on it.
So it originates from my dad.
Oh.
So we were in the middle of spring ball, or right before spring ball started. Or I don't know, it was weird, like the first week into spring ball or something like that. Michigan basketball was playing in the Big Ten championship. And my dad posted a picture on Twitter of him like rooting on the basketball team, but the picture was him like in our living room, like with the basketball, like shooting the ball on Twitter. And me, Max, and Marlon just thought it was like one of the funniest things ever. And just were like, we're gonna like do this like as a celebration now. Like, and we just started doing it in practice, and we've just been doing it ever since.
Okay.
I gotta get this guy's Twitter handle. This sounds incredible. I'm missing out. Everyone's missing out.
Yeah, we don't want people dogging. Don't make it public though. You don't want too many people.
No, it sounds amazing. It sounds like a great follow.
Well, speaking of jersey change, I mean, seriously, you 42 just sounds like that tough fullback number. Are you now lobbying to get something in the 80s?
No.
Jackie Robinson, Deb.
What's that?
42 is tough to come by. You got to be Jackie. You got to be Jackie. You can't even get 42 in the MLB. So it's
retired. Okay, good point. Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
What I was given when I got here, so just sticking with it.
I feel like 42 looks faster than 43 and 41. I don't know why. I think it's two even numbers. It just feels
the number
faster.
looks good. Even number.
Yeah.
So now, I think anybody that follows Michigan football closely knows that after the spring game, winners get a nice meal, usually steak, historically, and losers get hot dogs. You got steak. You were on the winning team.
Yeah.
Tell us, where'd you guys go and what did you have?
So we went to Texas de Brazil, the Brazilian steakhouse,
Oh, nice.
not too far off campus. And it's just a Brazilian steakhouse, so they bring around different meats and different stuff. Everyone, it was good. It was great. Everyone was there having a good time.
Because that's the one where you put up like a green or red if you want more.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys probably bankrupted that poor chain.
We only had it for like an hour, so we
Eat
like
fast.
had rented out like part of it.
The store manager's calling corporate. They're like, "Yeah, I got a problem. We
We ran out.
Yeah.
trouble this month." No, that's hilarious. Yeah, congrats. But losers, I what I've heard is that even though losing means you get a hot dog, no shame in hot dog, but that winners can also get hot dogs if they want. Did you double dip?
So this year, the losers didn't get anything.
Oh
They only
man.
got steak, or winners got to go get steak.
Yeah, that's a tough love thing.
What probably happened, Dad, is the hot dogs got so good that it was like wasn't an incentive. It was like, oh, if I lose, I'll still get a really good hot dog.
Well, you know what? The previous guys have mentioned the hot dogs were pretty good. They had the steak, and then because a lot of times it sounds like they were getting catered in Schembeckler.
Yeah, previously it used to be in Schembeckler. And so this is like the first time since I've been here. I don't know if they've done it years before that. Like we've actually went to a place and
That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I mean, you touched on it a little bit earlier about the culture of the program, but we'll read or hear that word culture and how good it is or whatever. How would, when you talk to people outside the program, friends or people that went to other schools, and they ask you about it, how would you describe Michigan's culture?
I would say that like it's really hard to explain because of how special it is, and like there's no other way to be like, oh, it's like this, because that's not everywhere. It's not really a common thing. I would say it's a place where it's like everyone is hardworking, like gritty, and nothing's given, everything's like earned, and it's like that type of idea and like thought process that like everyone has.
Yeah.
How do you, in today's world where there's a lot of NIL and people have different deals and things like that, how do you guys then not let that creep into the locker room and cause, various factions and oh, my agent got me this or whatever? I mean, how do you guys, because everyone's doing that and that's good. Like you guys, that's the world now, but it doesn't seem to impact you guys from a cohesive standpoint. How do you make that work?
Yeah, I mean, like obviously the higher end players are going to be making more, getting more deals and whatnot. So like that type of stuff is like knowledgeable. Everyone knows like if you're one of the best players on the team, you're going to be getting a lot of deals or a lot of stuff or a lot of recognition, but like the team really does a good job making sure like sharing opportunities throughout like the whole team really. So it's there's no one really being left out per se. I feel like a lot of the deals that you see players have come from like outside of the program, really their agents doing stuff with other companies or whatever it may be. But like in the program, they do a great job of like getting equal opportunities to everyone, same internships or deals or whatever it may be.
I know, like we've heard that too. When guys are explaining the culture, they're like, you can't really explain it. It's like one of these things where you kind of know it when you feel it, or you know it when you see it. We do hear one common thread, which is it's player led. Like, I think Coach Moore has talked about this. Of like when you have your players leading your players, you've got something special. What are some of those? What's kind of your role in that player led environment?
Like since I'm a guy that's been here for a couple of years now, I feel like I see my role in it as being a guy to tell younger players that like, hey, like we don't do this, or like right from wrong, or like what not to do, what like they should do and stuff like that. Like the older guys like Max and like Marlon and stuff, like Max obviously is captain, so like he's really one of the top leaders here on our team. So they do a great job of like having us be connected with each other, hang out outside of the building, and like doing certain stuff to like really make sure that we're together as a team.
You don't have to break news here. Have they announced the captains for this year?
No.
It was Max, Makari.
Max Vicaria.
Was TJ Guy captain? No.
He was for the bowl
For
game.
the bowl game, he was right. Man, I'm kind of blank. Oh, maybe Mullen. Edwards. Maybe.
Yeah, I
Donovan.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I do remember we
Rod.
had 2 sevens walking out there for the coin flip, so that must have been Donovan.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead, Dad.
I was just, thinking on the culture. Have you gotten involved in recruiting, with any of the 25, 26 kids coming in or anything?
No, not really. I mean, if there's kids here, other tight ends or whatever it may be here on campus, and they're being hosted or whatever, we'll hang out with them, go bowling, or do whatever we may.
I was just curious if the coaches come up to you guys afterwards and say, and try to get your opinion on whether that particular recruit is a cultural fit.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they'll ask us like if we take them to go do something, if we're hosting them, say like official visit or whatever. They'll like not really like ask us if he's a cultural fit. I feel like they can gauge that like with themselves, with their parents. Yeah. They just ask to make sure like he had a good time, some normal stuff.
Yeah, you should like take him to Side Biscuits and be like, "Yeah, get the hottest sauce here. It's not a big deal. Everyone does it."
Yeah.
Or
So,
go,
like,
go with the dim mock, the 3 skulls. Like, oh, that? Yeah, that's fine. Everyone gets the dim mock.
Yeah.
So speaking of, this is a bit of a transition, but we know that you have really tight relationships with the coaches. You talked about Steve Kasula, Chip Lindsey's obviously new, but we would love to know. Do you have a favorite? What's your favorite story about either a coach or a staffer at Michigan that you'd like to share?
Let me think here.
Could be funny or wholesome or.
I think because I don't really have any stories off the top.
Do any of those guys join you like downstairs in the player lounge where you've got the simulator and the bowling? Which coaches are the best golfers?
Oh,
I haven't really seen any of them down there.
Okay, they're working too hard, I guess. How about bowlers?
Teammates are the best golfers. Maybe Davis. Other than Davis.
I think Davis is really good. That's what I've heard. I'm not a big golfer myself, so haven't really golfed up here with any of them, but I've heard Davis is really good. Bowling wise, when it first opened up last year, Coach Moore was playing with us, and he's pretty good.
Coach Moore's a good bowler. That's hilarious.
Yeah, Coach Moore's pretty good.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
The one staffer I was going to ask you about, because Abigail is still there, right? The nutritionist.
Yeah, she is.
Can you shout out Abigail real quick? Because we've heard some people touch on just like how awesome she is and like her impact on the program, but I would love to know your take.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. Her and her staff they do everything like for us, really make sure we're eating and like doing what we need to do to be able to make our goals, whether it be gaining weight, losing weight, or like even just maintaining it. They give us vitamins and supplements and everything we need to keep us in shape and healthy.
So when you came to Michigan as a freshman, how much did you weigh?
I weighed, I think my first like body scan I did here was 218 pounds.
And I've seen ranges in the latest press stuff. You 235, 240 now?
I'm 248.
48.
Yeah.
A lot of people envy your ability to gain weight and still run fast. Most people gain weight, they go the other direction. So that's good on Abigail for putting on the good weight.
We all need an Abigail in our life. School. Yeah. We got to talk about school. You are academic All Big Ten honoree 2024. So first of all, congrats on that, man. That is an awesome accomplishment.
Thank you.
We are biased, but we tend to think the University of Michigan is one of the most unique learning institutions in the country. Academics, athletics, prestige. So,
100%.
Your accomplishments even like just that much more impressive. But have you decided on a major? You're entering your year. What are you thinking?
I'm studying communications.
Awesome.
Okay.
How'd you pick that?
If football doesn't work out, I want to like work in the PR field, people relations, and just hopefully obviously I would want it to be revolved around sports somehow. But if not, just business PR for a company or a business or whoever.
Okay.
I know you just went through finals, and when we were kind of scheduling this, you said you were about to crush one. What final did you just get done crushing?
It's actually tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Oh,
Just a history class I'm taking.
ooh, what history class?
It's about Pompeii and the destruction of Pompeii.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a nice light subject.
Okay.
1,000 people getting buried in magma alive. I assume it was magma. I don't know. Actually, that's
Well,
fascinating.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was gas and it was toxic gas.
That's what took them all out?
Yeah, it wasn't there wasn't lava from the eruption. It was just like the toxic gas.
Damn.
Yeah.
The movies are lying to
That's
us.
the same thing that's the same problem that East Lansing has, toxic gas up there. So they got that problem.
Boom.
So it is you mentioned earlier some of the things you're going to try to improve on over the summer. What are your summer plans there? Do you stay in Ann Arbor and train, or are you going home, or got an internship?
So we get like the month of May off. So we get from May. Actually, we finish our last workout tomorrow, and then we don't have to be back until June 2nd. So I'm just gonna go home and train at home and work out, hang out with friends and family that are home too, and relax a little bit, but still working hard, making sure keep
And
up.
then officially the team practices aren't till much closer to like a month before the season starts. Like, what do you come back and do? June and July are just player led.
We do some player led stuff. We also do some lifting and conditioning with the strength staff.
Okay, all right. So you're getting to be one of the more tenured guys, and you've lived during your time in college, you've seen some changes on the NIL and transfer portal. I'm just curious, like how some people will hear you talk about culture and say, yeah, that's great, but really it's all about the money these days. What would you say to people that think that's how you guys think?
It's a part of it, but at the end of the day, the money isn't winning you games. It's the players and the people who are coaching and calling plays and playing in the game who win the game. So that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
You're playing at like one of the most fascinating times ever in college. Obviously, NIL is picking up steam. It evolves, all the time. But there's now revenue sharing on the horizon. There's the house settlement, and rosters are changing. So there's just a lot going on. Also, you can be in a video game now. It's pretty sweet as a video game guy, which I should have asked you about. How 42 and Blues looking on NCAA, but. I want to ask you, if you were given reins for the NCAA for a day, like what's the first change that you would make, given what you've seen and what you've learned?
I don't know. I'm not really, I don't know. I would say some way to protect like athletes being injured or like career-ending injuries or something like that.
I remember hearing a very interesting proposal about that was pre-NIL, and the proposal was effectively that like players would accrue like a trust, and that trust was like effectively put into an insurance policy. It was like really interesting. This is like I think this actually may have been Mark Cuban. I'll check that. This was 10, 15 years ago, and obviously things have evolved since then. That's a really interesting one. The other one I've heard that I think I even heard it from Ryan Day, which sucks, but like the other one that makes sense is the transfer portal being open during the college football playoff is like one of the weirdest things in the world.
Yeah, that definitely needs to change.
Like I think Penn State's backup quarterback on the team was in the portal when they were like going to play their first game. It was like
he had to like stop being with the team because he had to transfer or wanted to transfer, but like didn't want to leave the team, but he had to do what was best for him. So like that definitely needs to be changed.
And that's the problem is like you can blame that kid. Like your team's about to win the title, but like he's obviously has to compete against all the other quarterbacks in the portal who aren't in the college football playoff that are going to take the spots. It's like it puts the kid in an impossible spot. So I think that's I've also been in support of banning the blue field at Boise. That's one.
He hates he
I
he
hate
hates the
that
blue
thing.
field. It's blue field. I mean,
So
well, speaking of the transfer portal, I got an old guy rant now, and it has nothing to do with the portal. It's how the fans react to when players enter the portal. I'll see on social media the other day when Keyshawn entered the portal.
Mm-hmm.
You get these fans that probably are in their mother's basement. Will say, like, the response is who
like good
question
riddance or
mark.
something. Oh.
Like they'll just say who question mark, and it's like there's no freaking way that you don't know who Keyshawn is. If you're a fan, and it's just throwing shade at people. Like, the guy was here for 4 years. I mean, he gave it his all, and he's doing what is right for him. I mean, I just can't stand fans that just want to either say nothing or just wish them well. I mean, he did nothing wrong. He worked his ass off, and he's going to go find a different opportunity. So anyway, my rant's over, but it just drives me nuts when fans do that.
Yeah. There's just no place for that. Just don't say anything or just wish him luck,
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. And you're right. I'm assuming he has a degree from the university. He was here for 4 years. By the way, had kind of a pivotal moment in the Rose Bowl, right? Like, he was on the punt block, and he bumped into the punter, may not have. Doesn't matter.
He blocked the punt this last season.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's been in there. And by the way,
not to digress,
I shouldn't say this because I saw something, but it's a good thing about Keyshawn, but I saw it in a place that I shouldn't.
What does that mean?
No, I saw like a metric board of KPIs.
Inside the workout room, you guys track your performance against certain metrics. I think that's publicly knowledge, and I think he was rated quite highly. We'll just leave.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's always been pretty up high up there.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to edit that part out because that was his top secret mission we were sworn to.
Well, we didn't take any pictures of it, for gosh sakes. I mean,
you want me to close up, Daddy?
Well, I say, yeah, Jalen, this has been great. I mean, again, obviously there's no guarantee that having a great spring game means you're going to have a great season, but the fans loved seeing what they saw, your athleticism, your emergence. And obviously the fans that follow this a lot have heard your name in practice, in terms of an up and coming guy. So we're really excited to see what you can do this year. And we really appreciate you taking the time.
And one more plug, we've talked to guys like Max that are in their 5th year that have been a big part about setting the culture. And then to hear, you as a guy, you've been here a couple of years, but you have some years left to contribute to this program in a big way. And just to hear like how that culture is passed on to you, your love for the school, your love for the team, just your approach, and then you're going to pass that on to the next guy. Just gives us so much hope that and just comfort that it's a real thing. The culture's a real thing. So I can't wait. Man, you're going to have an awesome season. We'll be cheering hard for 42, man. And can't wait to see it.
I mean, 42 for now.
Thank you guys.
It could get changed. Who knows? Maybe the coaches will decide. No, I'm just kidding. But well, hey, thanks everybody for listening. Follow us on social media, Leaders in Next, our website, leadersinnext.com, and see how you can support Michigan athletics. Go Blue.
Go Blue.